Alright guys, this video is black people respond to Chicago thugs threat to the National Guard. I know you guys heard about Donald Trump threatening to send the National Guard to Chicago, which is strange to me because Chicago's crime rate is down by 22%, so I'm not sure why he's bothering those people. You know, I know some things are out of context, I didn't get all the details, but he's literally just terrorizing people, and you're using the military. You're not supposed to use the military against the states, but he's Donald Trump, so fuck it, right? Why would he give a shit?
Over the last few weeks, the Trump administration has sparked several conversations on crime in highly urban cities like DC, Baltimore, and Los Angeles. According to Trump, these cities have failed to handle their crime rate, and in response, Trump will send in the National Guard into DC to help. Now, many have opposed the use of the military being used against civilians, while others have cheered on the move, pointing out how quickly things have improved. Just a few days ago, on his Truth Social platform, Trump would now threaten Chicago as the next city he may have to bring the National Guard or military to. He would go on to write, "I love the smell of deportation in the morning. Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War." He would then go on to share a picture of himself on the body of an Army general. Now, the president's words were definitely alarming for those in Chicago, including the city's own mayor, who would directly respond to the message on.
I understand why he's sending them in. Partially, I don't, but the crime in Chicago and black people, whatever, with the gang violence. But part of me can't help but to feel offended as a black man because it's just like, why are you attacking us? Especially when the crime rate is down. I can see if it went up or if it was the same, I would be kind of more understandable. But it just seemed like an excuse to go after black people, man, and they really bothers me as a law-abiding, perfectly fine black citizen. You know what I'm saying? If they can just go after black people in mass, how am I to feel safe that people are just targeting black people? And then the only people who are like with it, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? They try to make it sound like it's for the common cause or for justice, but it's really just to attack black people. That's all it really is, whether you're good or bad. But they're gonna hide it behind justice and national security, but it's really just a ploy to, an excuse to attack black people, and that's all it really boils down to. We give people too much credit when we think that they're doing things for the goodness of the people or justice, but it's so easy to hide pure and evil and sinister intent, man. It really is. And humans are imperfect beings. No, there's not a single person on this earth who has the purest, cleanest thoughts all the time, 24/7. So when we give in to all these notions and all these statements and thinking that these people have the best intentions at heart, we're really deluding ourselves. These people really probably deep down desire nothing more than disaster and destruction.
His X account. The president's threats are beneath the honor of our nation, but the reality is that he wants to occupy our city and break our constitution. We must defend our democracy from this authoritarianism by protecting each other and protecting Chicago from Donald Trump. Outside of political figures in Chicago reacting to Trump's threats, those who are accused of being directly connected to the crime would respond. Over on TikTok, videos will begin to circulate of gang members and so called thugs explaining that Chicago will not comply so easily like other cities.
Man, Trump talking about something Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War. Nigga, you about to find out why it's called Direct. The fuck, goofy ass nigga? We ain't scared of this shit.
Trump, do not send the National Guards to Chicago, gang. Do not, I repeat, do not do it. We are a different fucking breed out here, nigga. We are not Los Angeles. Nigga, we are not Washington, D.C. Nigga, this is Chicago, nigga. Them niggas go fight back. I'm telling you, them niggas go fight back, gang. Whatever, I don't give a fuck what you talking about. Them young niggas got switches, gang. They not going for that shit, bro. I know a bunch of y'all finna say, oh, it's the National Guard. They can't do anything about it. They must go in Chicago. Nigga, do y'all know that it's more bad people than good people, bro? There are over 100,000 gangs in Chicago.
Let me tell y'all something personal, bro.
Crazy.
Trump, I don't know why the you think that these young niggas in Iraq finna be scared. They ain't scared no National Guard, shorty. They ass is not playing out here, boy. The National Guard should be scared of them. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's what they be wrong. These YNs pull up to the police station.
My thing is, what does Trump exactly expect to be the outcome? Because National Guard, being a government mandated body, can't exactly use lethal force up front. You know what I'm saying? They have to wait until they have the opportunity, until they have a lethal force threat. So by that time, 9 times out of 10, National Guardsmen is probably already going to had been shot or subject to life-threatening violence. So essentially, we're just sacrificing. Why are we sacrificing fucking perfectly fine, perfectly able-bodied uh, so, army men to deal with a problem that's slowly degrading? It's 22%. Why are you inciting more violence when the problem seems to be sorting itself out? And these young niggas not going back down, bro. Like, they have nothing to lose at all. All that's gonna happen is that there's gonna be death. It's not gonna improve the gang violence. It's not gonna improve anything socio-political or economical. It's just gonna be meaningless death, in which, at the end of the day, National Guard is gonna be forced to pull out for the mere fact that, you know, I mean, you can't harm U.S. citizens. You're gonna have a civil war afoot or ahead, and he's bothering these people, man. It's tragic.
With switches, you know what I'm saying? Drake's everything, Shreddy. Right in front of the station, I know exactly what I said, bro. No capping, so it's like, this shit crazy. These little niggas crazy, boy.
Now, these threats
You guys
made
have nothing
by
to
gang
lose,
members
nothing to
in
live
Chicago
for.
to the National Guard
What are we doing?
will cause many black users online to now chime in and share how ridiculous they felt their logic was.
Are y'all serious? Do y'all really think that y'all can take on the U.S.?
At Gold Peak, we make real brewed tea. And it doesn't need
Military?
They probably can't take on the U.S. military. Absolutely not. But it doesn't matter. They're going to try. That's the problem. They're going to try, and it's going to cause a lot of death and violence. So it's not about them winning. I mean, who's to say this is not a thing where anybody can win? Because if these young niggas don't back down and the National Guard is going to go all out, well, you can't kill a whole bunch of citizens. That's a violation in so many different rights and different things. So it's not like it's going to end with one side winning and the other side not. It's just going to cause death and violence. So many guardsmen are going to die. So many fucking black people are going to die. And the only person that's going to have really be responsible and being held accountable if things go as they should is the National Guard. So he's saying, oh, you guys really think you can take on the guardsmen? Obviously they can't. But the problem is that they're going to try, and death is going to follow. And it's only so many things the National Guard can employ to combat U.S. citizens. It's not like they can deploy tanks. I'm not sure what he's getting at with this. It's not like they can deploy tanks and use bazookas and all kind of shit. At the most, they might have a pistol, maybe a rifle, that they have very limited scope, a very limited reason to use. Which is another thing. This is why you should not join the military. You're essentially a slave. They want you to go out there and deal with the worst of the worst population at the slightest whim. That's what you have to do. I don't see how anybody can join the military. You're putting your life on the line for a check.
Bro, the military overtakes countries, bro. Y'all are a small portion of Chicago, bro. And y'all talk about y'all got switches. A switch is so dumb. A switch is like a waste of bullets, bro. And y'all thinking because it shoots really fast. Bro.
So we got Chicago's gangsters and thugs saying they got switches for Trump's National Guard. Let's entertain that for maybe 2 seconds, right? First off, you think they don't know what you guys got? Where do you think those switches came from?
All moot points.
I know what's so funny to me is the fact that we got people on TikTok and the people of Chicago saying that they're not scared of the National Guard. Which, okay, you may not be scared of the National Guard or whatever the case may be, but I'm going to tell y'all something. The National Guard definitely ain't scared of y'all, and the National Guard definitely don't mind bringing their ass to Chicago and shutting that whole city down. And the only reason these people saying this is because Trump said that they're going to find out what he did with D.C. and they're going to do the same thing in Chicago. And I guess the people of Chicago feeling some type of way. The dudes talking about some, oh, we got switches, we ain't scared of the National Guard, we got all this, we got all that. As if this not the U.S. military that y'all talking about. I guarantee you, them folks start bringing those tanks and bringing those grenade launchers to the streets. There is absolutely nothing that y'all people can do to the National Guard once they get to Chicago. I'm gonna tell you that now. These are trained professionals that we're talking about here. These people specialize.
I've been in the military, bro. These are not trained professionals. They're just as trained as any other human being. These are not special ops forces. These are regular civilians who went through basic training, went to AIT, which AIT don't really teach you a whole lot of shit except for like duty specific jobs. These are not like highly trained soldiers. These are mostly regular human beings that they put guns in their hands, who are in great shape at the most, maybe slightly smarter at the most, but able and sufficient to deal with the YNs of Chicago. Absolutely not. And then these people don't who aren't in the military don't understand how the military works. Like, you can't just go around doing your own thing. There's a standard operating procedure. There's things written in documents that you have to follow no matter what. So it's not like they can think on their own or make a plan. There's things there's a list of priorities that they have to follow, a game plan they have to follow, and they cannot deviate from that. So it's not like they're going to develop their own strategies on the fly. They're going by a strict guideline. Like I said, that military people are regular people, and they're not as invested into the Chicago problem as Donald Trump. Donald Trump wants to take over Chicago. The people in the National Guard, who they place in Chicago, they can really give a fuck less about that shit, bro. But they have to do it. They don't have a choice because they're in the military. It's no different from somebody working at McDonald's and being mandated to go to work. Like, he's like, oh, bro, I don't fucking want to go to work, but I need the money. And you know what I'm saying? I made the obligation. But these people aren't invested into like the demise of Chicago. They're being forced to deal with Chicagoans. So that plays a big part in it too. They don't have the same mindset. Oh yeah, we're gonna take over Chicago and make, you know what I'm saying, kill these YNs and dumb them down. No, it's like, I got a fucking job to do, and it's fucking more dangerous than usual. That's what they're thinking. And they're, like I said, they're regular human beings. I know I'm friends with National Guardsmen and military people. All they are there for is for a check, bro. They're not a lot of them not patriotic. They don't really care about the military. They just need a check and they have an obligation.
In that type of activity in the active war each and every day.
A part of these responses.
And most people never even been to war, so his argument is moot. These people don't know what a war zone is like. They don't know how harsh the war zone can be. They haven't been trained in war combat simulation in a way that's meaningful, in a real way. I haven't been to war, but I've been in plenty of war simulations, and the simulation just in itself is very chaotic. You can't even understand what the fuck is going on in war simulations, let alone actual war zones, I'm sure. But we're going to continue.
Soldiers have also spoken out to explain why gang members going against the military is a bad idea.
At Gold Peak, we make real brewed tea. And it doesn't need...
I pray to Christ Jesus himself that this video reach the vast majority of the thugs and hooligans in Chicago that truly believe that you're going to do anything to the United States military. Mind you, we're not even bringing Green Berets or Navy SEALs or Special Forces, right? It's National Guard. It usually happens when an administration feels like a city or a place within the United States, it just adds civil unrest, right? Because we do defend the country from enemies, foreign and domestic, right? But let me speak to the people that think they're gonna do something to the military. Please, I advise you do not do it, right? I'm all for peace. I'm all for the right thing. Please do not put yourself in a position where you fall for the trap. Please don't think that you're gonna intimidate people that can pinpoint where you keep your weapons at, locate who your family is in a matter of half of a nanosecond. We have homing missiles that can track you down and put a quarter of a hole in your chest before you realize it. I'm asking all the thugs and hooligans to be civil. Be civil and just do the right thing.
Y'all heard what they saying
Yeah.
about old.
So that kid's literally a retard, because half of what he said doesn't really make any sense. The U.S. military are not going to use homing missiles against their civilians, for one. Hunting down families is not something they're going to do. That's not a realistic expectation at all. Let me tell you that the threats and the intimidation that he's trying to do is absolutely non-sufficient. The average military man is literally a complete retard, and I mean that. He looks like a private first class at the most, maybe a sergeant. mostly all military personnel from private to sergeant are complete total imbeciles, and the leaders that lead them are probably worse because they're a lot of times they're put in positions that they don't really qualify for, but because they got a college degree and they underwent a specific program, they qualify as a higher rank, but they're usually less skilled than say a sergeant. So a lieutenant coming in who leads over a platoon, which is 30 soldiers, is probably less proficient and less knowledgeable about the military than say like a sergeant in the military. But literally the average enlisted man is a complete total retard. He's proved his retardation by not placing things into context. Sure, the military has homing missiles. Sure, you can use this and that, but the military is not going to use that against the civilians. He don't understand that there's a very limited array of things that the National Guard can do against civilian bodies. And so none of that what he said really matters. At the most is everything that is going to happen is going to be reactionary at the most. So that's if a young nigga shoot somebody or shooting people up, and at the most all they can do is shoot that person, subdue that person. More likely the case. They can't go around killing people despite whether they shoot people or not, because it violates human rights and it puts fear into people that the military is being used against civilians at any time, and use of lethal force is permitted in any way, whether that state or that body who's observing it is doing anything bad or not. It's going to place fear in people's hearts. It's a violation of the Constitution. So they can't use any violent means that they have available to harm the U.S. Population. Everything is going to be mostly reactionary, and they're going to be encouraged to subdue their opponents in a non-lethal, violent way, if possible.
You know, telling Trump don't say
And
national.
and that's a huge disadvantage from the starting point.
Or here we got switches, right? Y'all think y'all warning them by saying they don't shoot well, that they don't have the same weaponry. They know that. However, you got to understand the generation that we're dealing with. They're not looking at that as advice. They're looking at that as a challenge. And while many of you think you have a one-up, or you're, really putting
Young niggas don't care about none of that shit, bro.
You're really not.
You're not. They don't care about none of that
And what
shit.
you're doing is you're issuing a challenge to them. You got to remember, as service members, we are governed by the UCMJ. Guess what YNs are governed by? The streets. They don't have the same rules that we have.
Thank you. I said that.
Please stop feeling like y'all flexing up on these Chicago YNs, bro. Because it's not cool. It's not the flex that y'all think.
Even if a Chicagoan or a YN shoots at you and you shoot him back, you're looking at prison time, very possibly. You're not absolved. You're going to go through a long, lengthy process that's not guaranteed to go either way. That's the problem with this whole thing, is that if a YN shoots at you, literally takes his gun with a switch and shoots at you, and he may or may not hit you, whatever the case, and you take your gun out and shoot him, you may or may not be going to prison. Just like that, whether it's justified or not. You know what I'm saying? Probably not, but it's a good chance. Who's to say that you wouldn't? It's going to be a huge controversy. It's going to make the news. It's going to be a long, lengthy court process. They're going to look at all this evidence. It's not worth the stress, brother. You're not going to know whether you're going to go to jail or not messing around. And like he said, the United States military is bodied by the UCMJ. So as I said before, there's only so many things they can do. Everything that they can do is going to be mostly reactionary.
I think it is. Oh, y'all think y'all got 5.56s and all these rounds and y'all can't shoot and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. What I'm saying is the D1 crash outs in the hood, they don't care nothing about critical thinking.
They sure don't.
All they see is
don't give a shit.
mission.
They do not think about the
according to
end
the
result.
mayor's office, crime in Chicago has significantly decreased in recent years. Specifically, Chicago has seen a 33% reduction in homicides and a 38% reduction in shootings. This summer saw 123 homicides, with 278 total homicides through August the 31st, 2025, compared to 2021 reports, reflecting that summer of 2021 saw 274 homicides in Chicago alone, with 805 for the full year. Now, it appears that things have already improved in Chicago, but it is still for some considered to have some work to do in regards to crime. So what are your guys' thoughts about Trump's possible move in on Chicago, and should gang members there be worried by these threats? Stay up to date for the latest news in comedy, culture, and sports by subscribing here to our YouTube channel and follow Hype Plus across all social media. And if you appreciate content like this, check out hypersclub.com right now to get a membership to watch full interviews and more original content. And if you do have a story you think we should cover, you can tip us off right now at hyperlerts.com. Again, that's hyperlerts.com. Reporting live from Hypers Club in Atlanta for Hype Plus News, I'm John Abu.
All right, guys.
And
It's
go
JBG
big.
Gaming. Don't forget to like,
We
comment,
make
subscribe.
real
Hope you enjoyed my
Blue
reaction
tea.
video. I'm getting the video out. One a day on the way. It's JBG Gaming out, man. Like, comment, subscribe, man. I'm broke as hell. I need money.